Hello, and welcome back to the Hot Action Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Kerr, and I'd like to start with an apology. I missed the upload last week. It was an unfortunate set of circumstances. If you've been following along, you will know that I was busy last week working on a film set in Toronto, and the hours were grueling. And I couldn't make my regular upload schedule. I unfortunately could not get anything out that was proper. I got one quick and dirty one out for week 8, I believe, and now we are on to week 10. I missed last week's upload because of kind of insanity, so I would like to apologize for that. I think some of you might have thought that the pummeling I took in week 8, week 7 rather, week 10, or week 9 is upcoming. I think some of you might have thought that the pummeling I took in week 7 had me running with my tail between my legs, and I'd like you to all know that that is not true. I strongly believe in getting back on the horse. This is gambling. You don't just get to take a loss and shuffle off. That being said, let's go over some of the stuff that's gone down since I've been away. So, unfortunately for me, the bets from week 7 were terrible. We only have 3 wins to speak of. We had Jacksonville beating New Orleans. They took care of business. Seattle over Arizona. That worked. That was my survivor pick for that week. Unfortunately, the next week I would go out. And then we had... this week I would go out with San Francisco in survivor. Unfortunate. Kansas City also took care of business against the Chargers. Everything else is red. We don't need to talk about that much. Then we had last week's games, righted the ship a bit, stayed alive in this pick'em contest. Kind of middle of the pack at this point after all this nonsense. We picked Tampa Bay plus 8.5. They managed to stick that one out, lost by 6, but covered. We took Washington plus 6.5. They lose by the hook. Incredibly unfortunate to my, for my money. We took New Orleans plus 1.5. They win the game outright. They smoke Indianapolis. I'm not sure what that line was about. Took Pittsburgh plus 2.5 at home. Supposedly they're good as dogs, especially at home. Didn't work out. Jacksonville wins the game by 10. Although Pittsburgh was hanging around like a bad smell throughout most of that game. Then we took the Jets minus 2.5 against the Giants. It took till overtime for them to break away by a field goal. That was a nail-biter, worked out. Took Houston minus 2.5 and Carolina collect their first win of the year. That's a loss for your boy. Took Miami minus 9.5. Felt easy, was easy. New England are junk. Took home the dub. Atlanta at Tennessee. Took Tennessee plus 2.5. Felt smart about it. Home dogs win the game outright. Then we took Minnesota minus a half point at Green Bay. Minnesota looked better the whole game. Unfortunately, though, Kirk Cousins goes out with Achilles injury. He will be out for the rest of the year. Minnesota is going to be hard to bet without Kirk Cousins. We'll have to figure out a whole new team, I think, without Kirk. Jefferson will be back sooner or later, it seems like, if reports are to be believed, but I don't know what to think about this division going forward. I had hopes for everyone but Detroit, but I think Detroit will run away with this now. There's no chance, really, that Minnesota catches up to them, and I think they were the only ones with any hope of doing that, I believe. Rams, plus 6.5. Dallas smoked them. That was a bad pick by me. Cleveland at Seattle. I took Seattle minus 2.5. Again, real nail biters. Seattle required a game-winning drive to win in the final 2 minutes, if I remember correctly. They covered, but it was a nail biter. Then we have Kansas City. I took them minus 7.5. With the spread, Kansas City only scored 1.5 points. Denver looked good. They defeated Kansas City for the first time in 17 games. It was like one of those moments where it's no one defeats the Denver Broncos 17 times in a row. Nobody. Okay? Doesn't matter if you're Kansas City or whomever. They just have too much self-respect to let that type of thing happen. Then we got Cincinnati. Took them plus 5.5. They win the game outright. San Francisco is looking like they are, when you get that phone call and it says fraud likely? I think that's San Francisco right now. They're in the fraud box. 3 losses in a row. Brock Purdy's brains, or his eggs have been scrambled. All of the interceptable throws that he's been throwing for the past season and a half, they're all landing in the last 3 weeks. They're getting intercepted. Now that he's maybe a half second slower because of that concussion, things are not going as well for him. So that worked out. We took Baltimore plus 8.5 in the last afternoon game last week. This was a heartbreaker. They were covering going into the final few minutes of the game. Then Arizona unleashes just a flurry of point scoring, onside kick recoveries. Like, everything that could possibly go wrong for Baltimore went wrong. They still win the game by 7 points, but failed to cover. For gamblers like ourselves, this is why we think the NFL is rigged. You do everything right, and then things flip on you in the last moments. And then, of course, we take Chicago plus 8.5, and this isn't even close. Chicago is just getting absolutely shit kicked the whole game. Sunday Night Football was a disaster. I feel like if you weren't gambling on it, you definitely tuned out pretty early. Tyson Bagent is... Bagent? I don't know. I don't think I'll have to know. This guy is not the future Brock Purdy, unless you mean throws back-breaking interceptions when your team needs to win. And I don't think that's what anyone meant when they said it in the first place. Then finally on Monday, we had Detroit, minus 7.5. They take care of business, and Vegas fires their coach. If you had him as your first coach fired, you were thinking differently than me. I didn't think Mark Davis could afford to fire him, but apparently he can, because it happened. No more head coach, no more GM. In Vegas, they're going to be an interesting team to watch going forward, because they didn't move anyone at the trade deadline. Now they have no coach and no GM. And again, they just seem to have no direction. Will they ever rebuild? It's a worthwhile question. The Raiders fans deserve better than this. That's all I'm going to say on that. And now we can move on to Week 9. All right, so we start out with Thursday night. Tomorrow night, we got Tennessee at Pittsburgh. Both of these teams are kind of like, if they're a dog, you bet on them. They're not great. They're not world beaters. But they're well coached. They both know how to muck up a football game. Because I have to bet, I'll take the points. It's Thursday night. I don't like it, but I'm betting it. If I have, I'll probably be betting the under tomorrow. That's all I'm going to say about this game. All right. Then we got the Sunday games. Start with an early morning, 6:30 a.m. call. And the geniuses at the NFL put Miami versus Kansas City in Germany at 6:30 a.m. it kind of works out if you're on the East Coast, but if you live on the West Coast like me, this is basically just a fuck you to the fans. This is one of the best games of the year. I'll be taking the points. I feel like Kansas City is also one of those fraud likely calls. You know, I don't know that they have the cornerback or the defensive back room to deal with Miami's like full frontal assault. It'll be a good game, but I think Miami's been playing better than them throughout the course of the year. But this will be a huge test for Miami. They have not really beaten the elite teams, but they have been smoking the bad teams. Hard to say exactly what's going to go down in this one. I like the points. That being said, I could see either team winning this game. Okay. Then we got Minnesota plus 4.5 at Atlanta for the first proper morning game that is not a early morning game. I don't know what to think in this game. Minnesota no longer has the iced up white boy Kirk Cousins. Atlanta's also made a change at quarterback. No more Desmond Ridder. I believe it's Taylor Heineke coming in. I don't know. I think I'll just be taking the points in this one. I could imagine Minnesota winning outright. But, you know, there's no guarantees in life. A few extra points will help you win. So I'll be taking Minnesota. Now, we've got Seattle at Baltimore. I've just been hitting the click button on Baltimore all season. Seattle, I'm back and forth on. My gut tells me Baltimore, which means I'll be taking Seattle plus 5.5. Both these teams have confounded me in the past. Points are nice. Baltimore gives up stinky games. Seattle is impossible to get a read on at any point in time. Like I said, we'll be taking the points. That's a lot of points in a game that I think will be close. Seattle might win outright. Kind of doubt it. Moving on. Now we've got New Orleans at Chicago. Or Chicago at New Orleans. New Orleans is a nice even 4-4. Chicago's 2-6. I believe as long as you've got Tyson Bagent under center, you're not going to be winning games. We're taking New Orleans. Their defense is stout. Their offense is at least efficient. I think they're going to be moving the ball in Chicago. I think Chicago is going to be turning the ball over. It's a lot of points, but I think, you know, New Orleans is going to win the game. And I bet they can cover. The Superdome's a tough place to play in. And yeah, this Chicago team is just, they've got nothing in the tank. Now we got Arizona at Cleveland. Same spread, minus 7.5 if you're betting on the home team, Cleveland. Arizona has traded away Dobbs to Minnesota. That means maybe Kyler Murray is playing, but I think he's questionable with his knee still. I'm going to be taking Cleveland because I think that there's a chance that their defense outscores Arizona. And, you know, they might need a few field goals just to, you know, keep it safe. But I cannot, in good conscience, bet on this Arizona team against this Cleveland D. It's scary. All right. Now we've got Tampa Bay plus 2.5 at Houston. Tampa Bay is getting points. Houston is a youthful team with a lot of moxie. That being said, they lost to Carolina last week. I think Tampa getting points should be the right pick. We'll see how that goes. There's a chance I'm wrong here. This Houston team is looking pretty good. I think Tampa's pretty solid. I might be overrating them, but We'll find out. Now, a very mysterious game. Washington Commanders at the New England Patriots. Washington has more wins than New England by 1. And they're getting points. That being said, Washington has sold their whole team. Or they sold multiple defensive players, Sweat and oh my gosh, Young, I believe. And then also maybe some other guys. I think this Washington team is quite banged up in terms of like the roster compared to a couple weeks ago. That being said, I will be taking, I don't know, this is tough. New England. We'll be taking New England. They're at home. You got Bill Belichick. Washington has no consistency in their roster. I think New England is the pick. Okay, now we have the Rams at Green Bay. I think the Rams are a better team straight up. We're taking the points. Green Bay has been absolutely just floundering. I don't know what their answer is. I feel like Jordan Love at quarterback is not working out the way they would have hoped. Yeah, that's all we need to say about that. Now we've got Indianapolis minus 2.5 at Carolina. I think Carolina is really bad. We're taking Indianapolis. I got Minshew Mania. Carolina got their first win last week. Let's not overreact. They're still very bad. Yeah. That's all I need to say about that. More afternoon games. We've got Dallas at Philly. Both these teams are quite good. Philly's at home. 3.5 points isn't a huge spread. I'm taking Dallas. That's right. Tush push be damned. We're taking points. We're taking a lot of points this week. We'll see how it goes. Now we got the Giants. If I'm remembering correctly, we have a guy named Danny DeVito playing quarterback for the Giants. Vegas is probably starting Aiden O'Connell. They've benched Jimmy Garoppolo in their extreme turnover moment. I don't know what to think. Both these teams really scare me to bet on. Should I bet on the new coach bump? I think that's what we're going to do. We're taking Vegas minus 2.5. I don't like it. This game is extremely stinky. But the Giants couldn't beat the Jets last week. I don't know. What do I pick? Do I take the points? No, we're taking Vegas. All right, Sunday night. The second best game of the week. We got Buffalo at Cincinnati. Buffalo is just, I don't know how to describe how they're playing. They're falling apart at the wrong time. Cincinnati seems to be coming together. We're taking Cincinnati. This is a momentum pick. Buffalo is, their defense is looking really suspect. Their offense is passable. That being said, let's just go with the hot hand. We're taking Cincinnati. Then we got Monday night. Chargers at Jets. Pretty bad game, I think. Jets at home, getting points. Chargers have been pretty bad this year. They just beat the Bears. Let's not overreact. Jets are grinding out wins. That being said, the Chargers, in theory, I think are better than the Jets, but the Chargers, in theory, screw up quite a bit. I don't know what to think of this game. I'm taking the Jets. Home dogs. Coach Saleh, take us home. And, okay, let's put in a tiebreak number. What is 14 plus 10? Yeah, that's 24. Let's go. That's what we're putting in. All right. Now we've got that. What are their best bets? What What out of this nonsense can we consider our best bets? All right, I think we got to take New Orleans. Okay, we're taking New Orleans. Minus 7.5. We're taking Cleveland. Also minus 7.5. We're taking Cincinnati. Minus 2.5. We are taking the Rams. Plus 3.5. And let's take Tampa. All right, those are my 5 best, and so I've been giving you guys updates on my Survivor. Of course, that is out now. That being said, I am also helping manage another Survivor team, and if you want to laugh at me, we are going to. I'll let you know what we've picked this week. We are on New Orleans. I will get the official list of all the teams we've picked for that Survivor if we survive this week, next week. Thanks for watching. This has been the Hot Action Podcast for NFL Week 9? Week 9. Thanks for watching. Bye.